Ugh. Okay, hi. I didn't see the timer timed out. I was too busy promoting myself on my Twitter. Hi, Jude. You're Jude. That's crazy. Okay, can you actually hear the game audio this time? I tried to fix it, but I don't know if I did. Yay! Okay, I fixed it. Okay. We're gonna load now. I'm eating gummy bears, by the way. Don't tell my girlfriend. She'll get mad. I don't know why it said to load a save slot, because I never could just save it. I guess it's a good thing I have these. Wait, hang on. 23:53, 23:43. Okay, they're 10 minutes apart. Cool. I missed her. I forgot her name. I think it's Eustace or Darcy. No, I think this one's Darcy, yeah. It is, okay. Probably because all the stuff I drank before we came here. That much I gathered. Oh, I guess I should recap what happened last time, even though we probably all remember. Murder happened, murder bad. And then we were going to mass. And that's about the extent of what I remember in, like, detail. Yeah, murder, broken heart. We lost our lesbian nuns, but maybe we can get more. Sorry, I'm chewing on a gummy bear. That much I gathered. Why would you drink anything you've cooked up? Oh yeah, she does weird science stuff. Before service. I thought it might be funny. To be honest, I like all the all lowercase. It's giving me Kannada vibes. Ellipses. It might be a little funny. I think they're lesbians too. That's right. The pair noticed Catherine and I walking past. Darcy gave me a strange little wave where she wiggled each finger individually. Eustace, though, she gave me a strange look that I couldn't quite place, but I didn't appreciate. Was I just fresh out of my cell and unable to comprehend any expression subtler than Catherine's? Or did Eustace seem to dislike me intensely? Oh, I remember this part. I think Hedwig? That's the name of the girl we play as. I think she's autistic. Oh, and then they talk about the other lady that's like really sun comes out, and then she's like, "You've been having sex in your cell," and Catherine's like, "No, me never. It's a cat." For sure. I had plowed directly into someone walking past Eustace and Darcy. In my attempt to keep myself righted, I grabbed a handful of cloak. I tumbled to the floor, nearly dragging the mystery person with me. Thank God I let go on the way down. I didn't even notice the way she's drawn. Like, is that... Because the veils aren't usually that long. But then this, like, bump right here doesn't make any sense. Is she just, like... You know... I looked up at the one who had collided with and realized something. This was what intense dislike looked like. I'm terribly sorry. Ah, Angela. Blah blah. I remember this part. Yeah, I guess their little, like, wimples are just really long. No, nuns are not allowed to be pregnant. Is this too loud? It feels like it's too loud. Yeah. But then again, Catherine's not allowed to have sex. But she might be doing that anyway. Catherine shot me a little smirk as I pulled myself off the ground. This is Sister Hedwig. She's still finding her footing. Haha. Puns. I'm really very, very sorry. I'm trying to fast forward this since we already kind of saw it last time. She simply looked me up and down quickly before turning to Catherine. Your door is still broken. Oh, is it now? You told me you would see to getting it fixed 2 weeks ago. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Evenings in the Misericorde, I've noticed. Catherine took a step closer to Angela. She was barely 1 inch taller, but she was making quite the effort to make it seem like there was 10 feet between them. Just testing the door, just the same. Musk as always. Wow. Darcy's experiments might be odorous than anything I might add. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, definitely a cat. Margaret and several other people I didn't recognize, yet, as always, my dear sweet Angela, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm sure. She shot me another icy look before turning on her heel to head into the chapel. It's time for service. Yay! I did not turn around before continuing into the hall. Maybe it really is a cat and not a euphemism, because it sounds like the joking sneeze is like, oh, I'm allergic to cats. That's so funny, right? Haha. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into the nun game. Angela is convinced I'm keeping a cat in my room. She's been bothering me about it for months. Are you? Of course not. They're filthy little things. Yay! The chapel. That sure is a cross. Inside the chapel, everyone was already sitting in pews. All except the superior, who I could make out standing at the altar near their back. She did indeed have a small device in front of her that I've never seen before. Given the apprehensive looks on the other sisters' faces, I could guess that it was the dreaded portative organ. She noticed me walking in with Catherine and gave me an appreciative little curl of the lip just barely legible from far away. When she spoke, her voice echoed around the chapel. It made me jump. Ah, greetings, Sister Hedwig. I would like everyone to give her a warm welcome. You know, I feel like a lot of nuns aren't going to do that. A murmur of dullest enthusiasm rumbled through the chapel. I gave a little bow of the head, unsure of how to properly respond. Thank you. Come up here, if you'd please. I'd like to introduce you properly. She glared at the gathered nuns. To the congregation. Oh, damn. They're in trouble. Who's texting me? I see. Sorry for being popular. I'll stop. I gingerly stepped forward and walked into the altar. Every footstep echoed around the large room, and I could feel everyone's stares boring into my back. When I reached the superior, she gave me an encouraging smile. Oh, they're all sitting. There's one with an eye patch. I want to know who that is. I turned around to face my adoring public, who mostly looked like they wouldn't mind if I were to drop dead in front of them. Cool. It's my girlfriend. Hello, girlfriend. Welcome to the nun game. If my mouth sounds like it's full, don't worry about it. I'll save for Darcy. Anyway, who is looking straight past me with a serene expression. She's high. No, I'm not eating gummy bears. What are you talking about? I'm participating in this game by eating the communion wafers I have saved at my house. I would never eat a gummy bear. What are you talking about? Hello. There was a collective grunt. It felt like one older woman with an eye patch sitting near the back was watching me with particular interest. She was smiling, but she said nothing. There was an awkward pause. Hello. They're cute. Oh, sorry. I like Darcy. Darcy stuck a hand out and started waving silently before Eustace grabbed it and tucked it back down at her side. The superior gave me a little nudge. Well, it's lovely to meet everyone. Or rather, the people I've met so far. Catherine, Margaret, Angela, and I walked past Darcy and Eustace, so we didn't really meet, but you seem very nice. Go lay down. Go lay down. I'll give you an update about the nuns later. The lesbian nuns, the gay nuns, and also I am eating gummy bears. Mwah. Not that Catherine and Margaret aren't nice. And I also don't mean the rest of you won't be lovely to meet when I can, if you want to. I suppose I'm meeting you all right now, but personally, you know, I think Hedwig is really autistic. Like, super autistic. Oh goodness, that sounds strange. At this point, I wouldn't have minded dropping dead in front of everyone either. It banned you for saying autistic. Don't worry, Twitch. I'm autistic. I gave Jude the autistic pass. We're all autistic here. I don't know why. I know it's probably because people use it as a derogatory term, but like, you know. You can say autistic now. Yeah, I know. It just hates us. It's being ableist by not letting us say autistic. I probably need to turn down the profanity filter to like 0. But I couldn't stop there. Well, I suppose the best way to get to know people is through prayer. Not that I've ever prayed with anyone, but that's what I've read. Wherever 2 or more are gathered, and so on. I've prayed alone many times, though. And really, I suppose, I've never actually been alone. Because I was here, and there were so many of you here all along. And you've all been praying as well. So, a lot more than 2 are gathered here. Not just in the chapel. I mean, but in the abbey, generally. Wow. Hedwig is not doing good. Oh. And you've all probably spoken with me before, or maybe not at all, maybe just some. I may have offered all of you spiritual advice through the before. I'm gonna quick save. Not that I can tell who is on the other side of that, by the way. Your deepest questions have always been safe with me, so I'll never be able to tell anyone anything embarrassing. Not to imply that anyone has asked me anything embarrassing, and I hope my advice has helped all of you, or however many of you I've ever offered it to. Oh, she is trying so hard. She's trying really hard. And if you were ever wondering who it was giving it to you, it was me. Here I am. Me too, girl. I, for some reason that eludes me to this day, felt it might be best to end with a little flourish. Ta-da! I'm your new chronicler. Awesome. Silence. Dreadful, dreadful silence. Finally, Darcy raised her hand. Yes? What's up? It's the funny little window next to her door. You're supposed to talk through it. Oh, right. I bared my teeth in as wide a smile as I could manage to the rest of the sisters. I got no response at all, save for another wave from Darcy and a smirk from Catherine. I looked up at the Superior for some sort of guidance, any help at all. She just smiled at me and pushed me back gently, urging me to head back to the pews. Cool. Okay, that was a lot of secondhand embarrassment. Hedwig's situation is rather unique, so we all have a responsibility to look out for her and offer her help with the day-to-day around the convent. I want everyone to be extra helpful and forgiving towards her, and I want no sort of hazing or pranking. By the by, Sister Flora, I'll be speaking with you after Prime concludes today. Whatever. Flora was the young woman with the pimply face then. Not wanting to cause a fuss, I walked past the last occupied pew to sit in an empty row in the back on the opposite side of the aisle to everyone else. Now the creed, if you'd please. And then we will continue with the usual psalmody before concluding with the hymn. Wow. And yes, that means singing. And yes, that means all of you, including Catherine. 1? Oh, Catherine I? Okay, Catherine I? Yeah, we had the same question. There was an awkward pause before everyone lurched into the Athanasian Creed at the Superior's urging. That's really interesting. We call it the Nicene Creed. I totally forgot how it goes. Basically, we believe in one church, blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. The Trinity is in unity, blah blah blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah blah. Don't worry about it. The Nicene Creed is also really long. Did you know you have to memorize it in a Catholic church before you get confirmed? It is like 4 paragraphs long, and you have to learn every single word. It's crazy. I'm so glad I'm not Catholic. For yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory. I know what that says. Whoa. I vomited black bile all over the flagstone floor. Girl. No. Overstimulated. She's autistic. Look. Okay, what now? Hello? Hello? Oh. Hello. Hello. Can you hear me? Moira. That means Mary. My name's Moira. This is an impolite manner of introduction, but say something if you can hear me. I opened my eyes and groaned. I was lying on the floor between the pews, surrounded by a semicircle of concerned sisters. I'm gonna save. Oh, she's cute! Moe. The woman who had been sitting at the front of the pews was crouched next to me. Her hand was resting on my shoulder to prop me upright slightly. Sorry. Her grim expression melted away as I began to speak. Don't dare apologize. You had us worried half to death there. I don't know about that. She spoke in a lilting accent I couldn't quite place. The superior pushed through the throng of nuns at that moment, prompting the friendly woman to pop back up to her standing height with a little bounce. She's going to be just fine. I think she's just a tad enervated. Milkshake, don't you dare. Don't you dare. Stay over there. Yeah. My cat's being a gremlin. Milkshake! Jesus. Anyway. All this might have been a tad bitch much for her humors, I'm afraid. I see. I did warn her that jumping into things straight away might be too much. I opened my mouth to object to this outlie, but the superior gave me a piercing look. My silence assured, she turned to the friendly-faced woman. Moira, I'd like you to take her to the dormitory to rest up for a little while in the room has been prepared for her. If she's feeling up to it, she can rejoin us for luncheon later. Of course. She leaned down to offer a hand to me, which I took. I staggered back to my feet, hiding my gaze from the crowd. What a disaster this had been so far. I took a deep breath and caught just a hint of the foul stench of ew. My baffling speech, falling asleep during service, and the throwing up in front of everyone. Even though these were people I was meant to suspect, I felt as though I'd been humiliated in front of powerful royalty. Surely there'd be no climbing back from this. Oof. So, yes, well, I suppose that means the office of Prime is concluded. There was an improving murmur from everyone. Amen. The murmur morphed into a half-hearted amen. Whoa, it's raining. Just like Persona. This is also kind of like Persona. Guy who's only played Persona 5. This game about lesbian nuns is just like Persona. As everyone began to shuffle outside, Moira kindly offered me her shoulder for balance. You'd better join us for lunch. You barely weigh a thing. And it started to rain over the course of service. As we passed the threshold of the chapel side doors back into the cloister, I could see Margaret and Catherine huddled together walking somewhat conspiratorially. Getting major Persona 5 vibes. Yeah, for real. Margaret noticed me and raised her eyebrows, prompting Catherine to turn to face me. Do feel better soon, dear. It's been a pleasure so far. I think they're fucking. Sorry. And no hymns. Amen is right, eh? Ah, Sister Margaret. Uh-oh. Since we read out a little early, surely you wouldn't mind cleaning up our newcomer's mess. I believe there's a mop and bucket in the workshop. Yes, soup. Soup? Oh, like superior. I understand. And Catherine. I'm sure Margaret would appreciate some help. Yes, of course. Moira tugged on my sleeve gently. Come on then, let's get you some rest. Maybe Moira's too nice. Maybe Moira did it. Maybe Moira did the murder. But she was too nice, and so she's trying to play it off. Moira. We walked back through the cloister and through the doorway where I'd made a fool of myself in front of Catherine. Everyone always says the monastic life is so simple, but I can imagine it being quite a shock coming from what you're used to. Yes, I suppose so. She squeezed my arm gently. I think Moira is also a little gay. Everyone also says first impressions are everything, but I have a good feeling you'll nail your second one, eh? All I could do was groan. I liked your little speech though. It's not often we get newcomers. Adela was the last one before you, and that was nearly a year ago, if I remember right. Adela? Oh goodness, how silly of me. We just established you haven't had a chance to meet everyone yet, poor thing. Well, that's on my mind. I was hoping to introduce myself to everyone properly after Prime, but... We'll get you rested up so much. Whoa, we'll get you rested up so you can catch up with everyone later, okay? I didn't have the energy to tell her that I had been about to say now I'd rather crawl into a hole and disappear after but. I don't know whether it was because I'd fully grasped him the first go around, or if my current state was so weak generally that Moira wouldn't have noticed, but I made it up the stairs with this direction without comment. Here we are. This is where all of us sleep, minus the superior, of course. We? We made up a room for you already. She swung open one of the wooden doors. A small, meticulously clean dorm room awaited. It had a similar straw mattress on one side, a little window, and an empty bookshelf next to a little reading desk. That doesn't look very empty. That does in fact look like there's books there. Okay. It was much smaller than the cell I had spent my life in. You could probably fit 2 people in here comfortably for a chat. 3 if one didn't mind sitting on the bed. Well, I suppose you're probably familiar with all that. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. But sure, girl. It's not much, but mostly we just sleep in these. Tugging my arm again, she led me over to the mattress and urged me to sit. You're a mite pallid still. A nap before lunch should do some good. What about terse? Or sext? Sext, sorry. Oh, and I slipped through matins last night. Now don't you dare worry yourself about something as silly as the hours. It's like the 6th office. You're not used to moving and talking and, well, living so much. You need some rest. But prayer. Oh, for Pete's sake, don't be silly. I'm sure he would understand. Yeah, this is true. I didn't have the energy to argue, but I knew all too well that God does not look kindly those who would take advantage of his kindness. Prayer is a privilege after all. Do you have a fresh frock, by the way? I could go and get it from your cell if you'd like. Oh, no, actually. Just the one. Whoa. Someone would come and collect it to be washed every few days. Never mind then. Give it to me and I'll have it washed. She said, strip. Now. I could turn around if you like. Nothing I haven't seen before, though. Okay. She made a show of spinning around before I could argue, so I gingerly undid my habit, stepping out of it and collecting it together in a rumbly little pile. I crawled into the bed. Hang on. My parents interrupted me. Well, I'd hope she's seen boobs. She probably has her own. I crawled into the bed naked apart from my coif, which I left affixed to keep my head warm. All yours, I suppose. Ta. I have a badge on for you as well. You really don't have to. You're not my chambermaid. She stroked my forehead before bending down to scoop up my clothes. I think eyebrow raised emoji, you know, that they're kinda, women are kind of, you know. I flinched at the sensation. While it was a friendlier gesture than Catherine's thumb assault, it was no less alien. Nonsense. It's what we're meant to do around here. For each other and for any visions in need of aid. Visions? I meant visitors. Wow. Well, thank you. She was right, of course. In my delirium, I'd forgotten the worldly purpose of monasticism. I had been shutting myself for so long, so focused on myself, and completely ignored what it was the Abbey was here for in the first place. Don't mention it. Do you get many travelers here? People in need? I must admit that I don't actually know quite where we are exactly. She sat down on the end of the bed. Not many. We're quite isolated out here. Out here? The closest village is quite a trek, I'm afraid. We get visitors occasionally and supplies get sent to us fairly regularly, but we do have to be a little self-sufficient. Where are we exactly? The nearest village is called Linborough, but we're on top of a hill quite away from there. Linborough. Oh, have you heard of it? It is rather a bit of a hamlet, so I wouldn't be shocked if you hadn't. I have to confess I don't know many English place names at all besides, well, London. Where is Hedwig from? Wait, probably German. She's probably German, maybe. I don't know. I don't know etymology. Linborough, though. It sounds nice. It certainly rolls off the tongue. Hee. It didn't always. I hear the folk whittled it down from Lindisborough. Accents are funny like that. Have you ever been to London? Never. The superior came and brought me news about London a few times, that's all. Clerical things, church business I never really understood. Oh, I see. I'm not eepy, ignore that. A stranger must be to you right now. No need to tell me twice. Oh, I'm sorry. I promise not to gawk any longer. No, it's alright. I wasn't offended. You're right. It is very strange to live one way until one day you're suddenly forced to start living what feels like the absolute opposite way. Giggles. Yes. I'm just very taken with the idea that the way I live is the opposite of the way you'd lived until today. That's very interesting. It's my turn to apologize then. Not at all. It's a perspective I've never considered. I suppose to the rest of the world, us nuns must seem very secluded and rigid. I've certainly felt that way sometimes. But you lived all by yourself in that little room all these years, with even stricter rules, I'd imagine. Very strict. Which is how I describe monastic life generally. but there was someone living very differently right under my nose. She paused for a moment. I noticed a tear rolling down her cheek. Moira? Oh, it's just... This was her... No! It was Catherine with the C's room. No. Catherine? She nodded, sniffling. It's been so hard. It might have seemed like everything was normal at Prime, but I promise you things have been very difficult with her gone. Sometimes it feels like most of them are trying to act like she never existed. I suppose I can't blame them, but it feels so wrong. Okay. I don't think it's Moira then. Her grief seems real, unless she's like really good at being a male manipulator or something. She could have been there today, a day like any other. She would have really liked you, I think. You don't even know, Moira. Not that, oh, you wouldn't even be here if not for that, would you? I didn't know what to say. Wait, why does she know that? Why does she know that's why Hedwig's out of the room? Big brain. Maybe Moira isn't innocent. Wow. Oh, listen to me rambling. It's not your fault. What was she like? She was very intelligent. Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. Intimidatingly so. And she wasn't afraid to show off that off to people. Yes. Oh no, I'm just imagining. I can picture her almost. Oh my god, that's so gay. She left a strong impression on everyone she met, myself included. She was good at everything she tried. I think that upsets some people, honestly. She was a prodigy through and through. More than just being the chronicler. Well, the nice thing about history is that it happens rather slowly. She had plenty of time for other pursuits, especially with how things are around here. I don't see why that would upset anyone. I wouldn't dare say for certain that she upset any of the others specifically. It's just a sense I've gotten in retrospect, perhaps. Do your businesswoman things, I'll save for a second. Let me know. I had to take a big sip of my Dr. Pepper. If I get another email about these people that I don't want to see on Twitter.com, I'm going to scream and cry and throw up. Neg. Extremely neg. Because it's always people. It's always people I don't know or care about or don't like. And... Sorry, I'm normal. I'm really normal. I'm so normal. I'm gonna give everyone a little Tatsumi just for you guys. Okay, I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. I don't know why the little icon's messed up, but I don't care. I'm so sorry that being a businesswoman's hard. If you want to save a Himaru or Tatsumi badge for me, I would love you forever. Especially because I need to buy Himaru badges now since I bought an entire Ida bag. Because I'm normal. I nodded. Precious as I held them, my conversations with Catherine through the had a certain friction that I couldn't imagine being amplified over years of talking to a person. I just don't understand why they're so sure that poor boy did it. Yes, that's okay. Which unbloomed? Which card? I'll do anything to support Jude business. I like that one. That's okay. He's so silly in that card. I'm sorry. I can't get excited about Himaru on my stream. We'll be here all night. I have demons. I have demons. They're very strong demons and they're very real. I need to become a nun so I don't have to deal with Himaru demons. I just don't understand why they're so sure that poor boy did it. She gave me a weak smile. You might have been able to rest up in the if not for him. Which one is the Tatsumi badge? It's a wee bit nicer than here than the dorms, I have to say. You don't think he killed her? I don't know if I'd go that far. It's less of a suspicion and more just... It's hard for me to reckon with purest random evil. Catherine was so good, wise, and kind. Oh, there is no Tatsumi. So everyone wants Himaru. Well, I'm not possessed by yaoi demons, so I deserve a Himaru more than anyone else does. For a lad to just murder her on a lark, I can't accept that. He'd have to have a reason, surely. Otherwise, the world is a much darker place than I believed. It's certainly a much dimmer place without Catherine. Oh my god. Gay. We sat in silence for a moment. I didn't dare rebuke Moira, nor did I have the energy. But as well as empathy, frustration was bubbling inside of me. I could fix these misconceptions. Evil is everywhere. Demons are everywhere. Are they though? Are they though? The Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intention of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. Genesis. Basic. Elementary. Wow. Sherlock Holmes reference. The very foundation of our faith. A godless man could kill someone as wonderful as Catherine without a second thought. It became clear to me there and then. The lackadaisical and selfish attitude surrounding crime, this disbelief in evil, something was very wrong here. Even Catherine's questions, to me, had bordered on blasphemous. These women were lost. Lost? Oh my god. She's going full, Christian on her, which I shouldn't be surprised about considering that's literally what she is, and she's literally a nun, but lost. Still, my eyes snapped open. For a brief moment, I felt like I was spinning. It was like I had only just regained control of my head. My throat tightened and I made the tiniest little retch, although thankfully nothing came out. Oh dear, are you sleepy? I'm fucking sleepy. Hee hee. How rude of me to spring all of this on you now after badgering you about needing to relax. This is a dorm, not a place of confession. No, rude of me to drift off like that. You have my deepest sympathies. Moira stood up, my clothes still bundled in her arms. I'm going to go and make sure these get washed for you so you can get some sleep. Oh, Jude, how did you figure out how to proxy the splits? I'm just curious. And I'll send someone to collect you to show you where the baths are. Where there's some fresh night clothes under the bed. She made a few strides to the door, then turned around one more time. And I'll ask Darcy for some mint. Good for an upset stomach. And for breath. She gave me an impish little grin. Well, you said it, not me. I must have looked mortified because she immediately became apologetic again. Oh, don't take that the wrong way. It's not your fault you've been sick. It's alright. Thank you again for everything. She closed the door gently, smiling warmly. I was left alone with my thoughts again. I must admit that I had been feeling pleasantly pampered for a moment before the mint comment. Oh, and a bath? Was I really so disgusting? Of course I was. I was a complete mess. Unclean, irritating, always saying the wrong things, disrupting Prime, expelling foul bile everywhere I went. What a mess. Whoa. This what I'm doing is for JP goods, so I'm using it from Sun Market. I thought Korean goods, though. Happy Ellie has their own shop on Taobao, which is international shipping. Oh, okay, that makes sense. I didn't even think about going on Taobao. But that's good. You should tell me what your merch account is so I can follow it and also bump it. Because if you do more splits, I'm going to badger you for badges. Finally, I got some real rest. I was simply too tired to rehash the embarrassment I had incurred over the course of the morning for a fifth or sixth time, and sleep finally took me. Whoa, the roof! Hello! Hello! I'm awake. Just a minute. I stepped out of the bed and hastily made it back up as quickly as I could. Dropping to my knees, I looked underneath the wooden frame for the nightclothes Moira had mentioned. They weren't hard to find. It was spotless under the bed save for a neatly folded gown. I retrieved it and slipped it over my head. It was a little big for me, but it did the trick. Evening lights. Awesome. What was the inspiration for that one? Are you decent? I'm coming. Sorry, I just had to find a nightgown. The name is Eve, so... Oh! I understand. I opened the door to greet her. She had a pleasant expression on her face and looked slightly more together than when I saw her in the chapel. She had droopy eyelids with a serene aura about her, except for the fact that she was dripping wet. Literally Kanata. This is literally Kanata. I wonder if the people who made this game were OnStars, and so they were like, let's make the weird one speak in all lowercase and be dripping wet. Moira asked me to bring you some mint, so I brought you some. Are you feeling better? Yes, actually. Quite a bit better. They made Kanata Catholic. Tatsumi got him. Almost a Kaname. Well, you know, they were in Moonlight Disco together. Get Spectacle together. Darcy put a few leaves of mint into her mouth and was chewing somewhat rapidly. Ew! Don't worry, I brought plenty. I love this stuff. Grow it myself. Do you really? Yes. She fluttered her eyelashes and held out her hand, proudly showing off a large pouch full of leaves. I grow lots of things. Mint is definitely one of my favorites, though. Did you know it's really called mentha? No, I didn't know that. She's crazy. Yeah, she grows weed. She offered the bag up to me and I reached inside to grab a few leaves. I placed them in my mouth tentatively, but was pleasantly surprised almost immediately. Oh, that is nice. That's right. You really grow this yourself? It's wonderful. Thank you for saying so, my friend. I just wish you hadn't gone and gotten yourself soaked in the process of getting it for me. You didn't have to do that on my behalf. Oh no, this isn't because of the mint. Is it not? No. No. Oh. Anyway, just no elaboration. Absolutely none. Yeah, I'm just soaking wet. It has nothing to do with getting your mint. So moving on. Bath time. She spun around on her heel and began shuffling away towards the hall. Wait, is there no lock on this door? No. Her and Catherine are incorrect buzzer sound. Yeah. We all trust each other here. Just make sure to knock. You don't want to walk in on Moira. Epilating? Epilating? Hang on, I need to Google what that means. epilating. Oh. Oh. It's pulling hair out by the root. So I can only assume... I don't actually want to think about that, actually. Moving on. That was embarrassing. The first time, anyway. Third time it started being a bit funny, I suppose. Ellipsis. I suppose I didn't have any possessions that needed to be kept away from prying eyes or fingers. I was just used to locks. Thirsty moved quicker than I would have expected. You could scarcely see her legs without her legs moving underneath her habit. She seemed to glide wherever she went, bobbing up and down ever so slightly. I followed, still feeling a touch indisposed. I didn't even know my way around the abbey. To be walking around it in such a breezy nightgown felt wrong, perhaps even disrespectful. I tried to make some conversation to distract myself. This is a very nice abbey. It's big and cold and probably haunted. Accurate description. What? Well, actually, that's not true. It gets a little hot in the summer when the sun hits the cloister. I love her too. She's my favorite so far. Her little emoji that she had earlier with the wee hee hee, that's like the icon for the game. I wish I could show you my desktop and then you could see it, but yeah. You stand in the middle of the cloister. What did you mean, haunted? Probably haunted. There's no such thing as ghosts. What makes you feel like the convent is probably haunted? Well, there are a lot of weird noises at night or when I'm walking around. And things move around on their own sometimes. And also I think most buildings just get a higher chance of becoming haunted the older they are. And these buildings are very old. Well, I wouldn't worry about that. Those aren't ghosts. It's just Catherine and Angela and Margaret being women together. That's it. I said this more to comfort myself than her, truth be told. All I could think about was the strange figure I'd seen from my window the night before. We took the stairs Catherine had led me down earlier, then walked past the door to the cloister to a web of hallways I hadn't seen yet. That would be a shame. It would be nice to meet Catherine's ghost. That's so out of pocket, Darcy. Okay. Awesome. Her plastic expression didn't change, but I could sense a hint of sadness in her voice. Not wanting to press further, I quickly changed the subject. So, where are the baths? Not far from the kitchens. So that we can make the water hot. Ah. How pleasant. It's nice. It's worth making the trips from the well, in my opinion. From the well? Does the kitchen not have a faucet? Oh, it does, but we aren't using it at the moment. Really? Why not? Well, it isn't really working. Ah. As we stepped out into the rain, I suddenly realized why she was soaked through. Oh, I really hope you didn't trudge back and forth in the rain just for my bath water. I did. But it's okay, I like the rain. Catholic Canada. This is the face of Catholic Canada. Canada? I don't know. Man, whatever, it's okay. I was currently struggling to not slip on the wet stone path in my wooden sandals, and I couldn't for the life of me understand what Darcy was talking about. Watch your step. At least promise me you'll go and warm yourself up after this. Oh, I will. I've got to go help with the kitchen anyway, and it gets hot in there. She led me into a room with a large window and a wooden tub in the middle. It was certainly not originally a bathing room. The whole thing looked rather makeshift. There was a habit and frock folded in a neat little pile not far away. And here we are. Enjoy, my liege. I didn't know what to make of that. I turned around to see if she looked annoyed or upset, but she had the same pleasant expression as ever on her face. If there's anything else I can get, you just shout. I'll probably hear it from the kitchen. Well, thank you. Bye! I'm really obsessed with her. Like, super obsessed with her. Darcy fluttered her eyelashes and broadened her grin before spinning around to scoot back outside, into the rain, closing the door behind her gently. Feeling miserable once more, I shrugged off the nightgown and removed my veil, and strode over to the tub. The water was quite warm, and some pleasant-smelling leaves were floating on the surface. Whoa, it's us! Our hair's long. And we have bangs, just like every MC. This is literally YN. Of course you're excited about the boobs. It's okay, Jude. I support you. I took a good look You distracted me with the word boobs, now I can't read. I took a good long look at myself reflected in the water. Horrible. I was pale and small, but any movement on my torso revealed ugly creases of flesh that made me wince. Aw, my nose was bent. I had spindly fingers. My eyes were dull and had bags underneath. Girl, you look fine. Or is that too gay of me to say? You literally... Oh, women. My hair had been growing almost unhindered since taking my vows, save for an uneven line where I'd made sure to cut my bangs, to keep them from creeping out under the veil and making my forehead itchy. All in all, I was a sad little creature. This is not 20 years worth of hair. I'm so sorry. Like, this is my hair after 2 years. Unless her terminal hair length is like really fucking short. I kind of... You know that line that Himuru has about liking really pathetic creatures? That's me, but about the girl we're playing as. Bathsheba, I was not. With a weary sigh, I stepped into the tub. Oh, of course the Himuru line is relatable. You shut up. What is that supposed to mean? Are you calling me a kinny? Are you calling me a kinny? Is that what you're doing to me right now? I speak in first person. Thank you very much. I just think he's moe. Don't tee-hee at me. What the hell? That's the wrong emoji. I meant to get angry at you. There you go. I had to think really hard about you calling me a Kenny. Anyway, I'm gonna pretend that didn't happen. First it was Tatsumi, now it's this. I'm like some fucked up Tatsuhime love child. / negative. As I lowered myself into the water completely, I could feel my muscles relaxing, a tingling sensation all over, as if the stress of the day was being washed away from the dirt. Unfortunately, this relaxing effect didn't extend to my head. Ever since the superior knocked on my door, I had felt as if all my thoughts had to be squeezed through a narrow tube one at a time, and I'd forgotten each word that made it out of my mouth by the time it was said. What I'm hearing is that she dissociates. I was completely off balance. I even tried sinking my entire head beneath the water to see if it had the same cleansing effect on my mind. No such luck. Raising my head above the waterline again, I tried to organize my thoughts, as slowly as they came. I had made a complete fool of myself in front of Catherine and Margaret. Well, in front of everyone, actually. I had made Moira and Darcy waste their time attending to me like servants. No wonder Darcy had made that crack about my liege. They were probably all fed up with me already. But one of them was a killer. What did I care about any of that? This place was a complete shambles. Sisters taking the Lord's name in vain. Flagrant disrespect for the abbess. Skipping matin. No, in fact, disregard for the liturgy of the hours in full. A total lack of familiarity with basic concepts of scripture. or the proper procedure for Benedictine monastic communities. And murder. That was at the top of the list. To hell with all of them. I hope we go yandere and crazy and that we kill everybody. Mostly joking. Only a little bit. I ducked my head under the water again and exhaled as hard as I could, in a feeble attempt to expel the rage building inside me. It worked somewhat. A feeling of deep embarrassment replaced my anger. I leaned back and stared into the ceiling, ashamed. I tried to push every thought away, both guilt and anger, to try and enjoy the rest of my bath. It really was nice. I wouldn't mind if someone brought the tub in here for me. Hee hee. Hee hee. I might never get out. Say, well, I have you here. We'd like to hear a different story. It's shorter than my own, don't worry. It won't be too much of a detour. Hee hee hee. What? What's going on right now? What if we killed Catherine? What if this was evil altar tropes the whole time, and that's why she was actually locked up in the cell? What the fuck is that? I'm sure you've heard it before, but it's one that I've been thinking about a lot lately. It's a Bible story, of course. How much is this game on Steam? I don't remember. I want to say it was like $7, $9 maybe. It wasn't that expensive. It is like one of those Patreon games. So this is like only the first volume, but it's been pretty long so far. We've gotten about 2 hours of content out of it. So, yeah. But it came out like a couple of weeks ago. You of course know of Elijah and Elisha. Oh yeah, definitely. Elijah ascended to heaven, and Elisha inherited his father's spirit, the sphere of God, with which he was able to perform miracles, and so on and so forth. He could part waters like Moses, and heal blighted lands and rivers. But there's a passage describing a journey to Bethel that amuses me. You know what I'm speaking of, yes? Forsooth Elisha went up from thence into Bethel. And when he went up by the way, little children went out of the city, and scorned him, and said, Go up, thou bald one, go up, thou bald one. And when he had beheld, he saw them, and cursed them in the name of the Lord. And 2 bears went out of the forest, and rent 42 children of them. Soothly Elisha went from thence into the hill of Carmel, and from thence he turned against Samaria. 42 children torn apart by angry bears at the behest of Elisha. That's rather extreme, isn't it? It's funny. Evil shadow skull. When I was locked in the cell the first time around, I never thought much of this part in the story. But it really is awful to think about, isn't it? Could you imagine being ripped to shreds by a wild beast just for calling a man bald? Only it mustn't be horrible, because God heard Elisha's curse and punished the blue little boys and girls justly. I've read that a lot of people question if they really were children. Perhaps in the original Hebrew, the word is a little broader. In Latin, it certainly says children, and we're taught that the text is inerrant. Which brings us to the part of the story that interests me so. The text is inerrant, but the Bible as we know it, it is a translation. So surely there is room for some error. I don't know if you know what the word inerrant means, but that basically means, in context of the Bible, that everything it says is the truth, and you can't say that anything's wrong with it. So the whole questioning if there is errors is like heretical. Anyway. In fact, that version of the story I recited for you, that wasn't just me paraphrasing from the Vulgate for you. That was a passage translated by a man named John Wycliffe. Of course I know you know who Wycliffe is. Who does not? Me, I don't know. Please continue to humor me. I'm attempting to record everything I find relevant to this story. Imagine, perish the thought, that you were some heathen listening to my tale. You'd appreciate the explanation, would you not? That is how I was trained to write chronicles. Do try and put up with me if I sound like the superior. Anyway. As written in Latin, the story is as follows. blah 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 blah, ascended the calf. Blah 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 blah. In the name of the Lord. Blah 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 blah. Many years ago, Wycliffe translated the Bible into English. The Archbishop at the time accused him of inserting nefarious messages into his translations. He thought Wycliffe was trying to rile up the common people up to rebel against the church. So sure they were of Wycliffe's heresy, they held a synod to argue for his expulsion from Oxford. Whoa, we got a funny little painting. They succeeded, too. His Majesty Richard II banished him from the college, and it became actual written law that no man shall write against the church. We both know the rest, of course. But you won't bite my head off for walking through it, will you? The Wycliffites were denounced. Their heresy was so thoroughly put to rest. This was nearly a century ago, so God forgive me for saying this. Wycliffe had some interesting things to say about the translation that often rattle around in my head. But I've gotten very sidetracked here, haven't I? Oh dear. The point is, I find it interesting that Wycliffe's translation kept the children part from the Vulgate Bible. He too must have felt the original Latin text was inerrant, and yet he was punished for his translation work. God forbid, but if the church as we know it crumbles many years from now. Haha. Someone attempts to teach using the Bible as a basis. Will they keep that part like we kept it in the Vulgate? This is funny to me because the Protestant church happened and they did do that when they made the King James Version. What does the story actually mean? It certainly seems a bit cruel. Or maybe it means nothing. If it means nothing, is it necessary? If it is necessary, what does it mean? You must forgive me. I do sound a bit of a lollard at the moment, don't I? It is a rather impossible problem. The 42 children have been mauled by bears at least 3 times now. Probably many more, as I doubt Wycliffe is the only man who tried to write a Bible in his own language. And since I'm afraid I'm useless at Hebrew, I'll never know if they were meant to be at all. I suppose this is splitting hairs. If they were grown men and women, being attacked by the furious mother bear commanded by God's messenger is still a rather unpleasant way to go. Still, clawed to death for a playground taunt. What a strange world. Hehe. Great, that was a really fun analogy. So you have indeed already heard all of this before. Please forgive me for taking up more of your precious time. Hehe. Like I said before, you'll permit me a small indulgence here and there. I like how she doesn't ask, she just tells you. Whoa, it's Mary. Yeah, I was about to save after this and say I have to go too, so I'll go ahead and say goodnight, and we can do this again later. I forgot what I was gonna stream in the following day, but I can just check my Twitter and tell you later. Anyway, here's a tats me just for you.